Hello, this is Mother Love Whispers. I hope everybody's doing okay. Um, I found something this week that I usually keep it put away. It looks like it's really been through a lot, I'm sure, but I've had it since I was 14 years old. So it's almost 50 years old. On the front it says World Cultures, and what's on the inside are some of the things that I did in school, and some of it is poetry, and my children, my granddaughter and my daughter, have urged me to make a video with it, so some of it I'll do in here. It'll take me just a minute to get in here. The pages, if I'm not real careful with them, they'll tear. This one is from 1972, and my last name at the time was Seagraves, Seagraves. It's called Joy Reached Out. It was nice at first. It was a pure delight. Every moment brought new wonders yet to see. I recall the joy, that overpowering joy that reached out its hand to caress me. Then I recall the pain when the joy grew dim, the moments when the light of love grew dull. But when the pain was gone, it came on awfully strong. Yes, joy was back, and I was in its pull. Yet the solitude and the lonely hours seemed to be a constant bellow of suspicious lies. I ached to know where you were and where you had been, until I realized it was just no way of life. So I had to go ahead and finish that one. And of course, this is my baby when she was 3. Little cutie pie. That was around, 1996, 94. Okay, one problem with my poetry is that a little urchin got a hold of this collection, and a few of them he kind of messed up, but I'm still gonna try and remember what I'd written. This was actually used by our valedictorian for the 74-75 yearbook. I attended a small school. It's called Montcalm High School in Montcalm, West Virginia. I was 15. No, I was 16, and I had gotten married that summer, and so I went to school at this little place, so I wouldn't quit high school, and they ended up using my poetry in their yearbook, so I would really love to get a hold of that. Just, I don't know, there's something about when you've written something, if you have something in your heart that you need to say, just write it down, because years later you can look back and say, gosh, what kind of a mood was I in there? Well, this one's called When I Go Away, and the valedictorian used this. When I go away, it will be raining. The street will be muddy and cold. I'll walk on the side of the highway, not knowing which way to go. All along, I'll think of home and my reasons for leaving it behind. I'll wonder why it came to this as I try and uncomplicate my mind. Yet I know wherever I go, it's for a purpose. I have to find me. I'm somewhere between where this road leads and home. God let it lead to somewhere free. And you can tell it was in the 70s, and there was all kinds of rebellion that had gone on in the 60s, the late 60s on. And it kind of peppered our feelings in a way. The music, the rhetoric, whatever we were listening to politically, it all made you feel like you had to find yourself. You know, it kind of cast this sort of feeling on you as a, you know, in your everyday life. I always wanted to make sure that I, you know, did something that meant something to others. For some reason, I don't know why it's always been that way. And I think, is it because I'm a people pleaser, or is it because I just want to make a difference? I don't know, but it's never left me. Okay, this one is called Inside of Beauty. And I hope, you know, I'm not going over these poems out of a feeling of, look at me, I wrote poems. No, it's because they've been here in this book for going on 50 years. It'll be 50 years when I turn 64. So I may as well put them somewhere. So you guys are getting to listen to them. Inside of beauty, inside a rose are soft sprays of dew, with walls of velvet on each bud. Each petal is a hand to hide the sun from destroying the beauty that means so much. Inside a small child is a young heart, a heart willing to open for whoever cares. This heart is kept from pain, if he is lucky, by parents that warn off the ones that dare. The inside of beauty for a rose or small child, unfortunately, can never be shown. The only beauty is protected, so reality cannot be known. And you know, when I read over these things, I remember this. I read this right before I ran away and got married. And the reason that I did was that my dad, he had become an alcoholic, and it was just really hard at home, and that's awful. But I even told my husband that if I got married, it was because, or you know, left home, it was because I had to get away from home. He had people in his family even that would come to our house and drink with him, and I was afraid of them. And I had my two little brothers and a little sister that I tried to take care of, but on a couple of occasions, I almost was sent home with one of his relatives. It was, you know, this very not a good man, and he said, why don't you let her come home with me? I'll take her over and take her to church with the girls. And I knew better. So, I don't know, I just thought I might do better if I got away. And I was able to. I was able to do better. And thankfully, the family that I married into, they were a good family. They were a Christian home. And, you know, it wasn't very good of, I almost believe that my boyfriend at the time saw, you know, what was going on too, and helped me. And his mother also, she was a pretty good lady. So hang on and I'll find. Anyway, I can look at these poems and see a lot of them, how I talked about depression a lot, and if I had been maybe a counselor or teacher, something like that at the time, and somebody was handing in this stuff, I would have been alarmed. But I look back and I say, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for watching over me during these times. And, I don't know if any of us are even aware of the times that God's watching over you and you don't realize it. But you can look back and really see it. This is called I Was Always Afraid of the Dark. And this is one of the poems I wrote about it. The coming of darkness. The day was ending, the shadows lengthened. Then as darkness boiled over, the devil walked in. His face a mass of wickedness, yet he seemed attractive to me. In his lewd smile he seemed to say, what a good use to you I could be. He walked across my bedroom floor till he was standing beside my bed. Then he looked down with a gleam in his eyes and tenderly stroked my head. Sleep, child, he whispered, and I will come when the darkness is turning to day. Don't disappoint me, for it's your soul I want. There's no time to become a saint. God protect the children when darkness is turning to day, for there's no one left to cry for their sins, when of the dawning they're stolen away. And like I said, there was so much. That was when I was before I left home. And there was a lot of crap going on, if you know what I mean. And this is another one of I think the Helen Reddy song had come out about I Am Woman. And I wrote this, so what if my life doesn't follow the plan? That list of do-nots made up by civilized man. So what if I do make my way by myself? This is one girl who won't be put up on a shelf. I'm breaking away from society's feelings and letting my true self for once be revealing. So I was getting down. This one, I feel bad for even going over this poetry because it's, there's depressing things in here. I did write a really meaningful poem in 2010, and I looked for it, and I will find it and do another video. This is called Depression. You ask me what has got me down. I'll admit on the outside things are fine. The one thing that seems to follow me is the halfway point, and I'm stepping on the line of wickedness, sorrow, pain, or remorse. I'm not to choose which one I'll be today. I live in a world of utter depression, not mindful of what I do and say. Sometimes it lifts and I see the sun. The glory of it strikes my heart to awe. Then the darkness descends over when I can't cope. Then all that's left is the memory of what I saw. One day I may be swept out of this tomb that guards me from seeing things as real. Right now darkness is my prison, and the prisoners aren't allowed to feel. Okay. Gosh, I'm making such a mess. These papers, for some reason, the older they get, the louder they get. Okay. This one is called At Home. At home I can be myself, growling, sulking, teasing, 'cause no one can see. At home I take off my plastic face. Proud, possessive dignity is replaced by the truth. At home I no longer have to lie, holding to nothing, laughing at anything, putting on a front for the world. At home I can face myself, the plastic face, the imitation of happiness, an empty shell to start filling. But because God cares, I find peace in myself towards people. There are no needs to lie. At home, I can even cry. And that was when praise the Lord, when I turned 16, just about before I turned 16, is when I started being picked up and taken to church, and it made me feel good to think that there was a father that I didn't have, that I didn't know I had, that watched over me, and it just gave me a little bit more, I don't know, strength and courage and a feeling of goodness about myself. Because when everything's coming around you and you don't have people really, at your back, I don't know, there's a feeling of shame that comes into you. And I was ashamed that my dad drank. I was ashamed that I didn't have clothes that were nice, and I know I shouldn't be that way. People shouldn't feel that way. You are what you are inside. And but at the time when you're a little kid, and nobody, it's just hard to think that way. But I did start feeling better about myself because I found out that I was loved. I was cared for. There was somebody watching over me. This is called It Takes Time to Know. Many times I've pondered on the thought of what in the future I may become, yet each profession or way of life seems to be so common and so wrong. The things I want to be just don't match my fate. I couldn't get a music degree on my looks, and even if I had the voice, I couldn't find the brains for soaking up the words inside those books. I won't find out my future in a paper bag beside the road. I know there's no point in wondering, for of course I can't be told. There's one thing I can say, though, about the future. No matter how far, I'll try to hold on to all things that are good and keep my better virtues as they are. Other than that, I know nothing. From this point on, I just go. If I find what I want, I'll be happy. Till then, it just takes time to know. So, like I said, we were going through the early to mid 70s when I was, trying to grow up and going through my teen years. And so there was all kinds of, we were told to write poetry and write about our feelings and stuff. So mine was, it was almost like if the teacher hadn't had us to write things, I don't think I could have gotten through the days I spent at home and, just trying to make things nicer for my babies at home and my poor mother. But we did have good times. We did. I'm not going to sit here and wallow because we played board games. We were a family that would sit around the table and do that. And of course my dad didn't play, but we played bingo, and we watched movies together. We had popcorn. It wasn't all horrible. My mom was good at coming up with things for us, and I tried to do it too. Okay, this one is about a boy I had a crush on. After the storm, I felt thunder in my head each time he'd glance my way. The clouds would seem to cover my eyes as I'd see him with her every day. It mattered not that he was so distant. He just seemed to be a little shy. I figured he was a fool not to like me, Now I know the only fool was I. Today I see past the clouds in my eyes because she's wearing an engagement ring. I see past the storms of selfish pity, and I notice now he doesn't mean a thing. Okay, waiting. Clocks tick slowly, breezes come seldom. The cat begins pacing the floor. That's what I should do, pace like a fool. But I ask myself, what for? It happens on every third Sunday. Time seems to stop for a day. The hours are longer. The noises are no stronger. The sky turns a musty gray. Why should I have a nervous breakdown just when I'm so full of luck? Because I just heard the sound of my dreams. Joe Snodgrass ice cream truck. Didn't we always love when we could hear that ice cream truck pulling up, that sound? And it was just crazy how it brought everybody together some way. I'm going to show you guys on my hand. I don't know if you can see it or not. Hang on. Oh, that's real good. See? Here we go. That, I don't know if you can see that. Here's a place on my wrist. The ice cream truck came when I was about 3, and my brother and sister ran out to go and buy the ice cream, and I ran behind him and I put my hand through a plate glass window, and it's almost like, it was the storm door, that, stuff like that happens, but we live, Anyway, so I did it. I shared some of my poetry, and even though it was, a lot of depressing stuff, I do have some more uplifting stuff from later on, and I'll do some more. My daughter and my granddaughter wanted me to share that, so I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you have your own something that you really enjoy doing that feeds your soul. You have to do something that feeds your soul, even if it's singing, if it's writing songs, if it's being a good parent. I mean, just watching your children grow, and seeing the little milestones they go through, the eureka moments when they get something so wonderful. I've got this little puppy. He's about 6 months old now, little Rudy. And he's 3 pounds heavier than his mother now. But it's been so cool to watch as his brain has gotten bigger and he's learned new things, and he's mean. Oh my. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for your comments, and I really appreciate your enthusiasm and the beautiful things that you say, and just to give me a pat on the back, and even if there's things that you would like, just let me know. And thank you so much. God bless you. I love y'all. Toodaloo.